I've decided to teach evolution for a number of reasons. Firstly, it's rather a topical issue, coming up as it is the 150th anniversary of what I believe is the most insightful book ever written, On the Origin of Species by Charles Darwin. Secondly, principles taught in this book are as relevant today as they always have been. And finally, there have always been many misconceptions associated with this subject, and I'm hoping in some small way to rectify some of these with this group of students. What we're going to do next, we're going to model another activity. So I'll be very, very interested to see how you survive in this actual activity. What I want you to do this time is I want you to keep the same adaptations from last time, okay? But we're going to change the environment. Just like the hippo in the UK all those years ago. Over time, he gradually found his environment changed. When his environment changed, he found he wasn't adapted to survive there any longer. Okay, so this next activity then, what we're going to do is model the effect of a change in the environment, which means the canopy is going to be higher. Now, if you remember last time, you had a mutation. I want you to keep those mutations for this time. So what were they? We had people who were slow. We had people who were kneeling. Two arms, and the final was no change. So can you stick to those mutations, please? Are you ready? Are you steady? Go! Stop! Sit down! Sit down, quickly. All right, let's count our wigglies then, please. Kneeling people, where are you? One. How did you do, Francesca?
I couldn't get any.
Why not?
Because there was none on this side on the floor and I couldn't reach.
You couldn't reach a canopy? Well, that's a shame. What do you think is going to happen to your mutation?
I'll just die because I can't get any.
You can't get die. You can't get any. Eugenia, how many you got at the back there?
16.
16. What was your mutation?
Slow.
Slow? How did you manage to get 16?
I jumped.
Sorry?
I jumped.
Ah!
Am I allowed to do that?
No, I don't think you are, so we'll disqualify you. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. But it was a good adaptation. Maybe you could have evolved to actually do that. Maybe. Martin, how many you got?
I got about 12 here.
12 here? How come did you get those? How did you get that many then?
Just got to really just...
What was your mutation?
2 arms.
2 arms. Now, do you think that helped you survive in this environment?
In a way, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yinka, how many do you get?
1.
Why just 1, Yinka?
Because people were kicking me.
What about the height of the canopy? What was your mutation?
Kneeling.
Kneeling. Did you reach them?
They're too tall.
So, what we have here, what is a key learning point? We have a change in the environment, don't we? And only those which are best what are going to survive this change in the environment. Yes, Sean?
Best adapted.
Best adapted to
The environment.
not just the environment, but that particular environment. That special environment that you're in at that time. And if the environment changed, let's say all the tree canopy went, and then we went back to grassland. Do you think, Yinka, then maybe you would survive? Yes. Maybe you would survive. So these are the important points of natural selection, okay? So let's just recap. We have, in any population, there is competition and a struggle for survival. Very good. In any population of organisms, there's always going to be
Variation.
caused by
Mutation.
and also random breeding, okay? Random transfer of genes. Evolution or natural selection is dependent on the
Environment.
and only those organisms which are best adapted to that specific environment are going to survive. This is what Charles Darwin, my hero, came up with. Okay, the man was a genius. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put all those together into a separate activity. I want to introduce you to my friend. Jackson, you've been sitting on him for ages now. Can you just get off Blob for me, please? Thank you. He hurt his feelings. Okay, here we have Blob. Okay, Blob is an undifferentiated organism. He lives in an undifferentiated background. He lives on a black background, and he's black. Doesn't do much. He just exists. Okay, but let's say, for instance, that the environment was going to change. Let's say it was going to change. I'm going to give you a choice of 3 mutations. Then I'm going to spin the wheel to change the environment. And then when you're going to decide, do you think you would have survived in that environment or not? Here are the 3 mutations. Well, actually, there's 4 because you can just go like this and stay the same if you want. Okay. All right. Mutation number 1, fins. Mutation number 2, See them? Wings. Very good. Mutation number 3. Very good. Very, very fast running legs. And number 4. You can stay the same if you want. Okay? What is going to happen is this. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and you all choose a mutation. You cannot change once you've chosen. 1, 2, 3, go! Keep it up, keep it up. Keep it up, you're doing very well. What's the number? 3. Okay, if you think you survived, stay up. If you think you've died and got extinct again, sit down, please. Okay, Tony, why do you think you survived? You got wings, mate.
They can fly above the water.
Oh, we live in the water.
Oh, live in the water.
Yeah?
Then I guess I do.
I guess you do. Okay. All right. Riff, why do you think you survived?
Because my fins can help me move through the water.
Fantastic. Jackson, looking good there with your fin. More fins, more fins. Marvellous. Okay, so all your mutations, again, I'm afraid have gone extinct, haven't they? You've gone extinct. What do you think is going to happen to you guys, though, with the fins?
Breed.
You're going to breed. Excellent. You're going to breed. And because you have that mutation in your gene, your offspring, chances are going to have...
Babies.
They're going to be babies, yes. But they're going to have... Fins. Marvellous. So let's say we do a lot of breeding. Marvellous. And we have lots of fin babies. Stand up, please, fin babies. All of this. Okay? All right. Let's just say this time the environment's going to change again. Okay? So you're in the water. This time we're going to have a colour change. Now if you can look at the clip charts for me, you will see underneath the clip charts 3 different colours. They are blue, green and yellow. What I want you to do this time is, after 3, 1, 2, 3, I will spin again. Take your colour and slap it on your forehead for me, please. 1, 2, 3, go! What we got? Number 4. Okay. Let me tell you how the environment has changed. Look, we have open water for number 1, ocean, sea bottom, or kelp forest. So you now live in a kelp forest. Kelp is seaweed. Big, long, green strands of seaweed. If you think you survived, stay up. If you think you've died off, sit down. I'll give you a clue. You're bright yellow, mate. I'll give you a clue, Trishan. You're bright blue in a green kelp forest. Sarat, why do you think you survived?
Because everything is green.
Everything is green. So what's the word that we use? Camouflage. And how does that help you survive?
The other ones won't eat you because they can't see you.
The other ones. What do we mean by the other ones? What's the word we use?
Creatures.
Alison?
Predators.
Predators. Excellent. So you camouflage. Also, let's say your prey, okay, I know, underwater wigglies. You eat them and they can move about. How is it going to help being green?
You can pounce on them.
Yeah, you could creep up on them because you're camouflaged, and then whoomp, and down they go. Fantastic. Okay, you green fin people, your genes are being passed on to the next generation. So what do you think is going to happen? You're going to produce babies which are green and fins. Okay, stand up. I'm glad you stand up like that, Remy, because of course it doesn't necessarily mean that all the babies are going to be green. Okay, because there's always variation, isn't there? Oh, too late. Remy and Martin, I'm afraid, out of the babies, we did have some which were blue, so sit back down again, you're dead straight away. But that happens. They're not all going to be green, are they? Because there's variation in every population. Okay, next one. This time the environment is going to change again, and this time you are going to develop sense organs, okay, to sense your environment. And you have a choice of 3 sense organs. We have eyes. Yes? We have taste. And we have vibrations. Okay? So there's the 3. Okay, are we ready? Steady. 1, 2, 3, go! And we have the sea beds. right at the bottom in the murky, dank seabed. Now think. Eyes, people, do you think you'd be advantageous to have eyes right down in the bottom of the cloudy seabed? Possibly. I don't think they're going to help, are they? So, eye people, can you sit down, please? Sorry. Okay, what do we have left? Zena, do you think your adaptation is going to help you down there? It's very cloudy, it's very murky.
Yeah.
Can't see anything. Why do you think taste is going to help you down there?
I don't know. Because you can't see it, you've got to taste it before you. No.
Yeah, exactly. It's quite literally going on with your tongue out and tasting the floor so you can find your food. Catfish don't care what they eat. They just gobble up anything in front of them, okay? So they taste it first. So taste is a good one. Sean, yours is an interesting one. Sense vibrations. Do you think it's going to help you down at the bottom of the sea?
I think it would.
No, I think it would as well.
Like dolphins and stuff, they got that echolocation thing. And
now that's a very advanced one. I don't think you're quite a dolphin yet, and we're not using that echolocation, but you can sense things around you. Which do you think would be the most superior over time?
Vibration.
I'll say the dolphin one.
Tina? I think probably what would happen is for a long time you'd both compete with each other, wouldn't you? You'd both compete. And I think maybe sooner or later one of you would outcompete the other. The only difference between natural selection and what we just did, of course, is the time. We did it in 10 minutes. Natural selection does it in millions and millions of years. Outstanding. Can you sit down again for me, please? I think some sweets are in order for that. Anybody else want a sweet? Of course you can. You may. See, you asked so nicely. Right, we're at the end of the lesson, and we've learned a couple of key points about natural selection due to evolution. If I just go back to them, if I can find them, here we have. Okay, so our key points was there's competition for all things, all resources, and there's a struggle for survival. There's variation due to mutation and random breeding. The environment can change, and it's only those creatures which are best adapted to that environment which will survive. What was the question I asked you right at the start of the lesson? Can anybody remember? Question you tried to answer at the start of the lesson.
Why
Yes,
does
Lauren?
the caterpillar taste so nasty?
Why do the caterpillar taste so nasty? Okay, before you answer that question, I want you to look. Here's my friend the caterpillar. Here's my sweet ball. Caterpillar, sweet ball. What do you notice about the sweets?
There's two different kinds.
What's the predominant sweet at the moment?
That chocolate thing.
Chocolate brown thing. Why is that the predominant sweet? Yes, Eugene.
If it tastes nasty, no one wants to eat it.
That's what I said.
Fantastic. And if it tastes nasty, nobody wants to eat it. What happens to it?
Then it survives on because
Survives and it passes on its
origin.
to the next generation. Now, the important thing is, did you actually consciously think about that while you were doing it? No, you didn't. Evolution is blind in its selection, okay? It is blind. It doesn't consciously decide. The caterpillar didn't consciously decide to be nasty tasting, did it? Okay, just by random mutation, or it might have eaten a plant which tasted particularly bad, and it was the selection pressures, such as the predators, that then decided for it that it's going to taste yucky, because this is the one that survived, while all the tasty caterpillars, of course, got eaten. I will leave you with a final thought. Obviously, you've got very huge brains. I've got a huge brain too. Do you think there's any relationship, from an evolutionary point of view, between the size of your brain and your ability to do this? Okay, think about it. That's the end of the lesson. Thank you very much.